Emotional intelligence is often defined as the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and influence emotions, your own and those of others. Daniel Goleman, one of the leading voices on EQ, outlined 5 components: self awareness, knowing what you're feeling and why; self regulation, managing those emotions instead of being controlled by them; motivation, using emotions to stay driven and focused; and empathy, recognizing emotion in others. Using awareness of emotions to navigate relationships effectively is what leads to social skills. Think about this. Have you ever snapped at a colleague in frustration? Forget about colleague, even a family. A family member, only to regret it later. That's a lapse in self regulation. Or have you noticed when someone is quiet in a meeting and instead of ignoring it, you check in on them? That's empathy in action. Emotional intelligence is the difference between just exchanging words and actually connecting with people. So, why is EQ so crucial when it comes to communication? Because it leads to clarity and understanding. When you're emotionally aware, you don't just focus on the words spoken, you also read the tone, body language, and underlying feelings. This makes your responses more thoughtful. High EQ communicators don't escalate arguments, they de escalate them. Instead of reacting defensively, they pause, they acknowledge emotions, and find solutions. So they're solution driven people. And people remember how you made them feel, not just what you said. If you consistently show empathy and respect, people naturally trust you more. And leaders who demonstrate EQ inspire confidence. They connect with their teams on a deeper level, and that makes their communication far more persuasive. Let me give you a quick example. Imagine 2 managers giving feedback. One says, "This report is sloppy, fix it." The other says, "I see you've put in the effort, and there are a few sections that could be made a little clearer. Let's work on those together." Which one would motivate you to improve? Exactly, the one using emotional intelligence. So, how do you develop EQ in your daily conversation? Let's get practical. How do you bring more emotional intelligence in your daily communication? 1. Pause before reacting. When emotions rise, give yourself a few seconds. That pause often prevents miscommunication. Ask more than you tell. Instead of assuming, ask questions. "I notice you being quiet. How are you feeling about this project?" Listen with your eyes and with your heart. People communicate as much through silence, through facial expressions, and through tone as they do with words. Focus on those. When you validate emotions, doesn't mean you're agreeing, but acknowledging, "I understand that this is frustrating you. I understand why you could be feeling this way." Reflect back what you hear. Simple phrases like, "So, what I'm hearing you say is this," or "It sounds like you're concerned about," can make people feel truly understood. These are not complicated techniques, but practiced consistently, they can transform how people respond to you. In the workplace, EQ can be the difference between a good leader and a great one. In negotiations, emotionally intelligent communicators look beyond the words to understand hidden needs and fears. That's how they reach win win situations or win win solutions. In teamwork, EQ helps leaders spot when someone is disengaged or stressed and step in with support before it becomes a bigger problem instead of pointing out only flaws. In presentations, leaders with EQ don't just deliver information, they connect with their audience, adjust based on reactions, and leave people feeling inspired. And it's not about being soft, it's about being smart with emotions, theirs and others. Here's the beauty of emotional intelligence: it's not fixed, you can build it. Start by journaling your own emotional triggers. Notice what makes you angry and why it makes you angry, why it makes you impatient or defensive. Practice pausing in those moments. Next, intentionally observe others. Watch their body language, listen to their tone. Ask yourself, what's not being said here? Finally, remind yourself communication is never just about transferring information, it's about creating understanding. When you improve your EQ, your relationships deepen, your conflicts reduce, and your influence multiplies. So, as we wrap up, emotional intelligence is the bridge between words and connections. It turns communication into a tool for trust, influence, and obviously collaboration. My challenge for you this week is pick one conversation at work or at home and practice pausing, listening deeply, and validating the other person's feelings. Notice the difference. And thank you for joining me on the Infinite Learning. If you found this episode helpful, share it with someone who could benefit, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Until then, keep growing, keep learning, and remember your words have power, but your emotional intelligence gives them impact. And hey, again, don't forget to subscribe.